Hello everyone, my name is Tracy. I'm back again this week to talk about our special writing project in Carnegie House in Bridgend. As I explained on our video last week, we're making a special book of children's writing and young people's writing that's been written around this time when we're all at home in this very unusual way and not able to see our friends and our family. Last week we talked about letters, and thank you so much to all of those of you who've sent letters in. And towards the end of this project, I will read some of them out, and then we'll get in touch when we've put some together that we can put into a book. But this week we're going to focus on stories, and you could write any kind of story and send that in. But I'm really interested in hearing about stories that maybe start off with a child. I mean, the character could be you, or it could be a made-up character. A child or a group of children who are stuck at home, who would like to go outside and then not allowed to go outside for whatever reason. You might come up with all sorts of reasons, or it could be about this particular reason that is around right now. And then you describe that very briefly at the beginning of the story, just a few sentences. And then all of a sudden something happens. So they find a special object, or they look out the window and something unusual happens. But they encounter some sort of a portal that it takes them into another world where they can have some kind of adventure. So that even if we're stuck inside, our imaginations can take us to the most fantastic worlds. So I'm going to do a quick example for you now, and then give you some examples that some friends have sent in to me already this week. So I'm sitting in my room. So I'll say, it was the middle of April and the sun was shining, and all Tracy wanted to do was to go outside and play with her friends. But she wasn't allowed to go outside. No one was allowed to go outside. And so she sat inside her bedroom looking out the window, and I'm actually looking out my window now. She looked out the window and she saw a beautiful swallow, a bird with long tails, flitting past her window and back again. And she wished she could be like the swallow flying around outside. And she closed her eyes and she was wishing hard that she could be the swallow. And all of a sudden, she was out there. She wasn't a swallow, but she had become a tiny person on the back of the swallow. And before she realized what was happening, the swallow flew away, with her grabbing onto his back as tightly as she could so that she wouldn't fall off. So there we go. That's an example of a story where I'm looking out the window and I see some sort of a creature, or it could be an object, it could be a tree, it could be a mountain, it could be a car, whatever it is, something, some kind of vehicle, if you like, that allows you to go off into this fantastic story that you can then go on to describe. And the other idea is some objects. So I've got two objects here, so again, you start off your story describing somebody who's stuck at home, bored, frustrated, sad, whatever the feelings might be. And maybe they pick up a pen that they haven't seen before in their house, and they start to write with this pen, and all of a sudden they find their hand is just writing without them even thinking the words to write. And what is written is a special message. And the message tells them to say special words. And when they say the special words, they find themselves carried away to a magic land. Or, and this is a challenge for me, I don't know, a hairbrush. I'm going to have to think now. How could a hairbrush? So, same start. Somebody's at home. They don't want to go out. They've had a shower and they're brushing their hair. And as they brush their hair, they start to hear a sound, kind of like a voice singing from their hairbrush. And they're thinking, that's a bit strange. They look around and there's no voice there, and they brush their hair and it's singing again. And as the voice continues to sing, the girl is listening, and the song starts to weave threads into her hair, golden threads into her hair, until her hair is filled with golden hair. And as she looks at her golden hair, she is swirled around and around and around. And when she comes down and opens her eyes, she is in a whole other world. So there's some of my examples that I've just come up with. And here are a few that my friends have sent in. And here is a fantastic starter for a story from Iris. Once upon a time in the year 2020, there was a girl called Iris who lived in a valley called Ogmore Vale. Iris was 9 years old. There was a terrible virus going round, which meant she had to stay at home. She felt devastated. One day she was bored, so she went to see if she could find anything in the shed. There was a dusty box in the shed that wasn't there before. It had a handle, so she turned it and it made a tune. And then boom! A portal appeared before her eyes and sucked her in. At the other side of the portal was a mysterious land filled with dragons. Then she noticed that she was a dragon. A smaller dragon went over to her and said, "Hello, my name is Rainbow." Iris replied, "Hello, what is this place?" Rainbow explained, "This is Dragantopia. Also, I can see that you're a moon-winged dragon, so can I call you Moon?" "I guess," Iris replied. So Moon asked Rainbow, "Why are you all wearing masks?" "Well, there's an evil dragon called Shadow from Shadowtopia, and he's spreading a nasty virus." Moon said, "Same. There's a virus back at my world too." Rainbow asks, "Are you here to defeat Shadow and his horrid virus?" Wow, thank you so much, Iris, for that absolutely wonderful start to the story. I think one of my favourite parts there is when you arrive in the new world and then you realise you're a dragon as well, so that you've changed your form even. And also how the dragon world also is going through this strange experience of having a virus. I'm imagining what it might look like for a dragon to be wearing one of those face masks that we see lots of people wearing now. It would be quite funny, I think. They wouldn't want to breathe fire, or else they'd need to have fireproof masks, wouldn't they? But thank you for doing the story, and you'll have seen there in the clips as well, Iris has taken a picture of the object even that she was using, and she's mapped out her little characters that she wants in there. Sometimes it helps, doesn't it, to draw the characters up for your story too. So that's something you might like to do as well while you're coming up with your ideas. So thank you for tuning in. I hope we're going to get some fantastic stories from you. If you could keep to just 2 sides of paper, that would be really great, because it'll just be easier to show them on the screen when we choose some of them to share with you in future shows. And if you, like I described last week, if you take a photograph of each page and then you upload it, you add it as a link onto the comments on the Facebook page or the Instagram page, that will be perfect. And you could tell us your name and your age. We don't need to even have your surname, just your first name. And we'll read some of them out next week. Thanks very much, everyone.